Zero gravity, a Speedo pageant, and Quincey, aka Prince, stirs up trouble. Welcome to the Bachelorette Season 19 E2. I am Liz Donatelli, and you are watching Romance Recap, a weekly talk show on the Reader Seeks Romance channel that discusses and analyzes dating reality shows. My co-host, Tiffany Current, and I are deep diving into a historic season of The Bachelorette with two Bachelorettes, Gabby Windy and Rachel Recchia. Hello, Tiffany.
We're here. It's another week. I feel like you summed it up properly, the episode. I felt like I was watching like a Fast and the Furious movie. Like so much craziness was happening. It was ridiculous, but it was a lot of fun. Much more entertaining than last week.
Yeah, it was very fun. I did not expect this level of kissing at this point.
Yes.
There's a lot of fun dates. I thought there would be some duds and then eventually they'd get interesting. But so far, a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, right away, we go into objectifying the men and doing a Speedo pageant.
Out of the blue, they're like, let's do a Speedo contest. And I was like, okay. And that was fantastic. They gave them this little bag. All the guys are like putting them on. They're like, I haven't shaved. I have a lot of back hair. And they had all these suitors just up in their Speedos, and they had to display the front and back. And they also had to answer some questions as well, like a little talent contest as well. It was fun.
The winner of this pageant, actually, I should say winners, right? There was more than one.
Winners, yeah, exactly.
Are invited for an exclusive after party at Bachelorette House, which is where Gabby and Rachel is staying.
Let's talk about our favorites. Did you have a fave of the Speedo contest?
I could tell you who wasn't my favorite.
Who wasn't your favorite? I have top two for me.
So Meatball, aka James, decided to, as part of his, talent portion, covers his body with a jar of pasta sauce.
He was one of my favorites. You didn't like that? He was just like, because it was just silly, and he was Meatball, and he likes pasta and sauce, and it was perfect.
First of all,
who else is gonna just cover their chest in pasta sauce? That's gonna be in their minds for the rest of their lives. I'm gonna have nightmares.
It was a disgusting mess. He had no respect. I, as an Italian American, have too much respect for sauce.
No respect for the sauce. You have no respect for the sauce.
I'll tell you, Rachel really won me over because she says I'm Italian and we don't eat canned sauce, canned jar sauce.
Yeah, I know. I heard her say that. I was like, come on, it's just fun.
Listen, I don't know if James is Italian or not, but he has no respect for the sauce.
I also really liked Fabio. What is it? Jacob.
Yes. Okay.
When he put on glasses and he pretended he was a mortgage broker, I was like, I'm done. This guy has a sense of humor. He's actually very entertaining. I thought that was really entertaining. He was in my top two.
He sits down, puts on the glasses, and says, I can help save you $60,000 on a 30-year fixed mortgage. And at first, so I forgot what his job was. So I was like,
what is his job? Is he an accountant?
Random. He's a mortgage broker.
I totally thought he was just playing a role. He's a mortgage broker?
Yeah. So when I learned that, I was like, okay, that is a great way to A, introduce them to what you do for a living.
Funny.
B, show them something that they're competent in, because competency is a big turn on.
Yes.
And 3, it was unique. So
I had no idea. I will say, knowing that he's a mortgage broker, does take it down a bit for me, because I just thought he was like, I'm going to just do this for fun. I thought, how creative, a mortgage broker. That's hilarious, but that's fine. I still liked it. I thought it was funny. He did it with glasses on and Speedo. That was very exciting to me.
Yeah. That was fun. May I just take a moment to comment on, there was a lot of shots prior to the pageant beginning of the guys in their Speedos, and they have black squares blacking out the center of the Speedo.
Whenever you wear Speedo, it's a little bit more of a, you're not leaving things to the imagination. It's just in your face. So they probably, out of respect, put a little black box around it.
Yeah. Because honestly, I don't even think I would have noticed, because they weren't that up close in their crotch. So it's like, I didn't see the point of, focusing attention on it by putting a square. So now I am looking at their dicks.
I liked it because Gabby was like, I don't know where to look. And it's like, you know where to look.
Yeah, she know.
She did know. She did know. But
Boing.
those are my two faves. Outside of that, I think there was they were juggling and jokes.
Oh my God, the juggling. How many people juggled? I think there was 3 different people juggling. What is up with juggling?
Well, I think it's when you have a minute to figure out your talent. It's like, I guess I'm going to just throw some balls up in the air. I don't know. That's a pretty quick turnaround. It'd be interesting.
Well, this whole medieval jester thing with the juggling isn't working for me at all.
You were like, no, sir. So I think those are kind of my highlights. That was pretty much all that stood out. I know Chris, who we'll talk about later on, did a basketball thing where he bounced a basketball and he sang a song.
I'll tell you, this is the song that he made up on the spot. And I was cringing so hard when he
It was not a good song. It was not a good song.
Okay. He sung Rachel to my east, Gabriella to my west. I'm here to prove my fit is the best. He should have ended there. For you, the best for you. So he ends, and it didn't make sense. And Gabby looked, first of all, shocked that he said Gabriella.
Maybe it was a haiku. I don't know. When I heard that too, I thought, is her name Gabriella?
Is her name Gabriella?
I think.
Oh my God.
Logan did the worm.
Logan did the worm.
Classic, of course.
Classic. Worm.
And then I think Quincey, he stood up because I think he was wearing the Borat swimsuit.
He wore the banana hammock.
Yeah.
But that was really it. He was just kind of posing in it. Someone had nunchucks. I don't know who it was. They were playing with nunchucks.
Yes, that is true. And I remember seeing that thinking do you carry that with you? Is that a must in your travel on luggage? It was very surprising to me. Nunchucks. It was very Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles happening there. I don't know who has nunchucks, but
yeah, I thought that was weird. There were some interesting questions. You mentioned before that they had to answer questions.
Yes, they did have to answer some questions.
But they didn't cut to the answers. Did you notice
that?
Well,
for Logan specifically, Logan did answer it. They said, how would your exes describe you? And he said, stubborn. I'm like, I don't know if I'd admit to being stubborn.
Yeah, that's a bold
and then and then somebody else, they asked, who would you kiss? Which one of us would you kiss? I forgot who that one was.
Johnny. With
was
the
that
pilot
Johnny?
Hat. Yeah.
Johnny. Oh, yeah. He was cute in that hat. And he said I'd kiss both of them, and then he ended up kissing both.
There's something about him. He looks like a squirrely liar. But they were both taken with him.
Yes,
apparently, he confidently wore the Speedo and the pilot hat. And Gabby said she liked him.
And that was it. I mean, we don't have to hear everyone's responses. We don't need to hear all that information.
But there were some questions I thought would have been interesting. So they I don't know who asked Tino, how many serious relationships have you been in? And I was like, I want to hear that. Cut. Next question. Tell me about your beauty ritual to one of the other ones. I was like, okay. Cut. Then it's Hufflepuff or Gryffindor. Cut. It's like, well, I would have liked to hear the answers to any of those.
We're not here to find out more about them. We're here to see them in Speedos, Liz. So let's get in the game. That's what it was.
I'm sorry. I'm focusing on the minutia. You're right. It should just all be about dick.
That's actually the name of the show now. All about dick. People they picked for the date. I think it was Johnny, Avon, I want to say, Logan, Brandon, Jason, and one other person, maybe Colin. I can't recall.
So it was Avon, and he was the one who spun the basketball this time. Logan, fan favorite Logan, but I think he's going to cause trouble because I think they both like him. Brandon, the bartender, who is the Blue Man Group. I don't know what he did, though. They never showed us what he did during the pageant to get their attention. Okay. Jason, I wrote down who? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Who is Jason? I've never seen Jason before. And we don't even see what he does in the pageant. So I don't know what he did.
It's okay.
Johnny, Mr. Pilot, and Colin. And I went, what did he do? I don't know what Colin did. I don't know what Brandon did. I don't know what Jason did to get them the win.
I think some of them, it was just meant to take some of these guys who they didn't get to meet the last time and have them on a date to get to know them better.
So you think it was less about their performance in the pageant?
Yeah, I think it was just, the producing saying, pick these guys. But then they bring them back to their house and they kind of proceed to go on dates. And I think Rachel goes on a few dates and she's just not feeling it. I think at some point too, she goes on a date with Jason and Jason says, I'm actually here. I have feelings for Gabby.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Rachel was like feeling bad about herself. And it's like,
yes.
Oh.
And that's when I asked myself again, who the F is Jason?
Gabby had a date with Johnny and she made out with Johnny. Remember that? They had a nice
I do.
A nice kiss. It was a nice kiss there.
I have to say that all the kisses in this episode that we will discuss all were a bit more
they were good kisses, more passionate.
Yes, more passionate, much better kissing than the whole Mario.
You gotta let him go. Let him go.
I do have to let him go.
You have to let him go. But so she kissed Johnny, and then later on, I think Rachel went on a date with Logan. That's when the drama starts. And like her and Logan had a good connection. They end up kissing. She goes back and she reports it to Gabby. Like, I think you're kind of like Logan.
Yeah.
And then as far as we can tell, Gabby doesn't reveal that she kissed him as well. And that they had feelings for each other. So it was kind of interesting there. So we're starting to see a little bit of drama there that they kind of like the same guy.
Yeah. So Logan kissed Gabby first and then kissed Rachel. Like Logan kissed both of them. In this episode.
In this episode, he kissed both of them. That's correct.
And
in their house.
Yeah. I was right in Bachelorette house. You're right. I was starting to think, okay, is this going to create drama between the two of them, between Logan and them? I really am impressed with how Rachel and Gabby are really communicating with each other and backing off when they feel. So it seems like Gabby is going to back off of Logan a little bit and kind of, give Rachel time with him because she's expressed such joy at being
she was very excited. She's like, somebody likes me. And then Gabby was like, okay, then you can have him. That's fine.
Yeah. And she seemed, genuinely okay. I know I'm waiting to see if the two of them, eventually, but I don't know. They seem to have a pretty strong relationship.
I don't think they're ever going to come to, head about it, but I do think they're going to get upset that the guys that they like end up liking the other person because it's kind of starting to go in that direction. But we do see the dates ends and then Rachel ends up giving, I think, a rose to Logan and then Gabby gives the rose to Johnny unexpectedly. And we go back to the house and then we have some more individual dates.
Yes. The first date card is given out on behalf of Rachel. Jordan V, aka race car driver, gets the first date. I'm like, I had forgotten about him.
We have to talk about this date. I feel like I was in zero gravity because like my head was spinning at the end of this because I was like, it was going in one direction, then it spun around to the other direction. It was all over the place. It was all over the place for me.
Okay, let's talk about what happened. And then I have a few questions.
Yeah.
Jordan gets one of these classic cars, which I guess is his. I don't know. Is it his car?
I don't know if it was his or not, but I think it was just because he's a race car driver. I think she thought it'd be nice to have a nice fancy car for him to drive.
Oh, she planned this.
I think so. I thought so.
Oh,
Either way, it was a fancy car and he was excited. She was excited. I was excited for them because she seemed happy. Yeah. They seemed like a really good fit.
They looked cute together. They were
super cute. Yeah. Then they proceed to go to do like a zero gravity date.
Right. They drive to an airstrip where there's an airplane, but I don't understand. They get into the airplane and it's set up for like zero gravity because there's no seats. But I don't understand. I thought you only achieve zero gravity if you're in space.
Well, there are things where you can emulate it. I mean, that's how astronauts on Earth practice going into space.
Then why did they have to take off into the air? Why couldn't they leave?
Know.
You know what I'm saying? Why couldn't the plane have stayed on the runway? The plane took off, and I'm like, but you're not going to space, so how are you?
Maybe just for like fun. Okay. Either way, I thought the date. It was like to me. I thought that was an awesome date. I thought that was cute. Yeah. I think they were like practicing doing like push-ups and stuff, and then being silly, and then say it. They did it.
They kissed.
And
they were like kind of like holding on to each other because they're floating. I thought that was super fun. I would love to do that date. Yes. If not with my husband, then with you.
Are we going to make out on this in zero gravity?
No, that's optional.
We have to do it.
How we're feeling, if we're connecting, if we're vibing, if we want to go there.
We'll ease into the kiss.
Yeah.
I will say for me, this kiss, no matter what happens later, I thought this was the best kiss of the episode because they were in zero gravity and then they were kind of like floating up in the air, and it was very like movie magic moment, and like you can hear the romantic music coming up as they're floating away and wrapping their arms around each other. I thought it was a great kiss. I really liked it.
It was a full body kiss.
That's why I liked it.
Yeah,
it was
I think
all
that's right. Yeah,
you're all in. I'm all in. It's
it
an
looked
all-in
like
kiss.
a very cozy kiss.
To me, it was the best kiss, and that's why I was so shocked going from that kiss.
Okay, where do they go after this? They go to the
after
dinner.
This, they go into LA. They go to dinner, and they're having dinner together, and I don't know if I missed it. I felt like, did I walk away? Did I miss a second? They're having a great dinner. He's telling this really dramatic story about the fact that his parents got divorced and he had to be more responsible and this and that. And I was like, this is moving. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, Rachel gets up from the table. And she's like, give me a moment. She steps away from the table and she goes and she talks to a producer and says like, this isn't working for me. I'm thinking like, I myself too was like, Kim, like, what's happening? Why did you just get up from the table randomly in the middle of this dramatic story? Yeah. She goes on to say that she's not feeling with him out of the blue.
Yeah.
Out of the blue.
Yeah. I felt bad for Jordan because they show him sitting awkwardly alone at this table for two that they've put in this lobby of this beautiful hotel.
This enormous thing. Yeah.
And he's just like looking around like, I don't know. Question one, was Rachel talking to a producer or was she talking to the host, Jesse?
I don't know. We couldn't see. I just know that she was talking over like her options. She was trying to figure out her options in this specific date.
Right.
Of how to handle it. Were you surprised? Were you applauding her?
Actually, I did.
Heartless.
No, I don't think heartless.
Heartless.
First of all, I felt it too. I felt that as she was talking with Jordan, I even felt that I said, Jordan can only go so far. He can't go where she needs him to meet her. Okay. Yeah, I applauded her for.
He can go into zero gravity, but he can't go any further than that.
Of course, they spent a lot longer together than we were privy to.
Jeez Louise.
So listen, I applaud her for saying, listen, I feel it in my gut. This can't go any further because I don't feel that that je ne sais quoi, that I don't know factor, what it is. So I applaud her for ending it right then and there.
Yes.
But here's my follow-up question that I did not think of in the moment. I said to myself, but wait a second. What if he would have been a good match for Gabby?
I was watching it too. I was like, okay, I did appreciate the fact that she was like, I don't want to waste this guy's time because she had her time wasted last season.
Right.
And so she was like, I want to get rid of him. But the same thing, I was like, well, what about Gabby?
Right.
But maybe it's something where they discuss it beforehand to say like, all right, if you don't like him, then get rid of him or something or other. That was my guess. They must have discussed what to do.
It has, because when she was telling Gabby that she sent him home, I said to myself, oh my God, is Gabby going to say, well, why did you do that?
That was the love of my life.
Right. So then I said, listen, they have been so communicative. They must have had a conversation beforehand. If this is how this season is going to go, then I'm all about it. If we could be like, okay, get rid of you. I'm sorry. It's not for me. And we got rid of a number of people today in this episode.
There were a number of people that I would just say, meanwhile, while this was happening, we're in the Bachelor house, whatever.
Bachelor mansion.
And for some reason, Chris is talking about the fantasy date at the very end where the woman would get to choose whether or not they want to more or less sleep with the person. And he's saying like, I don't want to sleep with them if they already slept with somebody else.
Yep.
This is out of the blue. I did not think it was a big deal, but I'm just saying it now because it comes up again later at the very end. And I'm like, this guy's crazy. And he's just discussing something that hasn't happened. Who cares? Who cares?
Chris, who we get to learn better during his basketball pageant talent, and he starts singing. He's very into, he even said, sports, leadership, and I forgot what else. So he's really into strength and being strong and confidence, and he's overly confident, and he started talking
overly confident
the fantasy room, is that the fantasy suite? He is so convinced he's going to be in the final four. that he said, this is something I need to start thinking about now, is what happens if I'm in the suite and she's having sex with someone and then I'm going to say no because I don't want you to have sex with other people.
Maybe he's one of those people that's like a visual, like I need to visualize it for it
I
to
think
happen,
so.
right? He's like, if I visualize him in the final four, it's going to happen. And I guess he visualized getting kicked off the show because that's what happened. But
Wow, you skip right to the end.
I did. We'll come back to that. Let's
yes,
go on.
No, you're right. It does, but this is when we start seeing Quincey doesn't take too kindly to this conversation.
He does not.
And he's also kind of annoyed that he wasn't invited for the after party because he wore the banana hammock.
Yes.
Okay. And endured the most embarrassment, I guess, in wearing that ridiculous thing. And he's like, I should have been at the after party. I should be getting more time. And now Chris is saying this. Chris, now I'm going to take down Chris. That's where
he put an X on his back. Now the infighting begins. That's usually how it starts. So let's go back to, I thought was a really sweet, wonderful date between Gabby and Nate.
Gabby and Nate, I am rooting for them.
I want them, like, I don't think we actually got to really know Nate the last episode. In this episode, we really got to know him, but he just seems so sweet. They actually seem to fit really well together. I think first she just brings him over to her place. I'm like, all right, I guess that's the date. They're going to just get in the hot tub and that's that. But they get in the hot tub together. He basically says, I really care about you. And then they make out in the hot tub. It was a really good kiss, right? And then from there, they go on a helicopter ride. I can't remember actually. It's the wrong order. Helicopter ride first, right?
Yeah. Helicopter ride to an airstrip, it looked like, with a hot tub set up.
That's what it is. Yeah, that's what it was. There was a lot of stuff happening. That's a lot. I feel like you could have just taken your car there. But then he basically says that he really cares about her. They make out. And then he keeps saying like all these positive things about her, like you make me really feel really good and etc. And she was really appreciating that. And I like that. And then eventually he takes her to dinner, and that's when he reveals he has a daughter.
He has a 6-year-old daughter. What was especially beautiful about this date that they had, this private dinner in Union Station, a train station in downtown Los Angeles.
Is that what that was? Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
That's
cute. I thought was a really cool, setup.
Yeah.
It allowed Gabby to share her relationship with her dad. She's very close to her dad, not so much with her mother.
At first I thought, okay, it's not going to go well, because when he said he had a daughter, she kind of took a drink. I was like, that's never good when someone says I have a kid and the person takes a drink. I was like, oh, you're out. It's like, what am I getting into? But then as he goes on to share his, how much he loves his daughter and how much like she brings so much joy to his life, Gabby starts crying. Because as you said, because it reminds her of her own relationship with her own father, and she knows how important that relationship is. And they really connected over that. And I think she even said that she, I think more or less she saw that he was stepped up as a man, and that kind of made her appreciate him more as a potential partner.
Yeah, they really, really hit it off. I think they look cute together.
Yes. I love them together. I love them. I hope he lasts to the end. He seems good for her, and he seems like he's there for the right reasons, unlike some other people. But
I think he'll go for, I don't think she'll pick him though, because ultimately he does come with a lot.
He has a child. I know. That's the sad part. I hope so, because
and we don't know what his relationship is with the mother of his child. That could be something that she's not willing to walk into. So Gabby, I think that she'll have fun with Nate, but I don't know. I think he'll last long though. I think he's here for a little while. I really enjoyed the date, and I really got to know Gabby a little bit more, because I'm not familiar with her, and so I was like, I
like Gabby.
They felt comfortable with each other.
It seemed like a real relationship. But then it's interesting, because then we go back to the mansion, and then we have like multiple dates. It's like, let's everybody have a little bit date. It's like the final date of the night. And it's like everybody take their turn. And then we randomly saw Rachel and Mario. Mario's like, I'm going to try playing both sides of the court. And he took Rachel on a date, and he was basically showing her, I think he's like a trainer. Is that what he is? Is he a trainer?
Mario is a personal trainer, and
that's
he
what it
says
is,
to Rachel, I'm going to take you on a mini workout where you don't have to do anything. And he lifts her up, and he's doing all the activities while holding her. And Gabby is across the way dating somebody else. I don't know, Colin or some other guy with
Who
longish
knows?
hair. And you see her like look
She
at them.
sees. I saw the glance. We
What
all
do
saw the
you think? Was that
glance.
like a side eye, or was
I,
that
I
what
think
was?
well it was a side eye because she was looking at the side of her eye, but I don't
Well,
think she
you know.
was giving a side eye. But I think she was questioning it because she did give him, the first impression rose.
Yeah.
So it was of note. It was of note that
Yeah.
happened. But then I think Rachel had been feeling bad about herself after her
Yeah.
date, but she had a good date with Mario. Then she went on a date with somebody from the Jersey Shore who set up.
Tyler. Yes, he is a small business owner. And he owns some kind of, I don't know, boardwalk game situation on the Jersey Shore.
Yes.
Okay. So they set up one of those like basketball
Yeah, that's
throw
cute.
games with the stuffed animals on the side. And he said, "Oh, I won. So I get a kiss." And they had
I
a
liked
kiss.
that because he didn't ask, he didn't demand, he
Ah,
just kind of said it like, I think I
okay.
deserve a kiss, and he just went for it.
Okay.
And I liked it. I appreciated that.
So you enjoy claiming a kiss, not demanding it, but claiming it as your right.
It's mine. It's
I
mine.
thought it was smooth, actually. I thought it was kind of smooth.
smooth.
Like, oh, I won, so here's my kiss. And he did it like just, of course he did, because he's from the Jersey Shore.
Stop it. You and your Jersey Shore thing.
I have found that Gabby tends to use negging with guys. Like she negged Ryan.
That's her style.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Ryan from Boston. The first night, she's like, "Oh, you write like a 5-year-old." She tells Eric about his mullet. He has a mullet, which I thought she liked in the first episode. Now she's like, she goes, "You look terrible." She told him.
Can I just talk about the Eric date? But you're right. She does do that. I think that's her way of maybe being playful. That's just what she does. She's being.
It's a little aggressive.
I wouldn't appreciate it, but that's her style of love language. I don't know. But I will say this with Eric. I was watching it. And once again, she was laying on top of him. Because remember the last episode is the same thing. She's just like, I'm on top of you. Yeah. And they're very cozy together. So I feel like they're going to go far in the future. But I don't trust him. There is something about him. I don't know what it is that I just don't trust. Let's see what happens.
Well, first of all, I think it's the mullet. And it's hard to trust people with a mullet.
Because they're indecisive. Is it up? Is it down? Make a decision.
That's an excellent point. Yes. Eric is a little prone to jealousy. So is Quincey. And I feel like the two of them are going to maybe show an aggressive side to themselves that the ladies aren't going to dig and get rid of. That's my opinion, because Eric seemed like he's a little, hurt that he's not.
He was hurt the last time that he wasn't getting picked. Yeah.
But I don't know, she likes kissing him. So
she's vibing him, because whenever we see them together, she is laying on top of him. So clearly they feel comfortable enough to be like attached that way. So she's at least physically attracted to him.
She is, yeah.
I don't know about him. I don't really know him as a person.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't think there's much I don't feel like he is very deep. I don't think he can get there vulnerability wise.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
He doesn't seem like a deep vessel. I feel like Logan has depth. I feel like
but he's also playing
depth.
both sides of the court.
Well,
I don't know.
Is he playing, or is he just dating? I don't know. We don't know. I don't know who's playing and who's dating. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I will say, speaking of playing, Quincey said, I'm going to take my turn at this. And he pulls Rachel aside and he tells Rachel about the conversation Chris has been having about the fantasy suite. She tells Gabby. And together, they're both kind of offended that he's thinking about sex this early in the game, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, listen, Quincey is stirring the pot. He gets together with his two henchmen,
his comrades. Yes.
So Paul Rudd lookalike Hayden, and Jordan, who's the dude from Tampa, who he seems desperate for Rachel to notice him. And Quincey's like, we should really tell the ladies, right? Because, if we don't tell them, that would be like keeping secrets from your wife.
I feel like, yes, he said that. Both of them confronted Chris.
Yeah, they were really upset with him because they're like,
that was interesting.
Inappropriate to be thinking about the fantasy suites because that involves sex. Yes. And we're not at that. I'll be honest, I agree with you. I didn't think it was that bad that he said anything or that they were even talking about it? Because of course you're always going to be thinking ahead, like what would happen.
Yes.
Now, I mean, they said it was manipulative and controlling of him to have the belief that, okay, well, I'm not going to be, into you. I'm going to leave you if you have sex with someone else in the fantasy suite.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is that so unreasonable though?
I feel like what he was saying was not unreasonable. I think this is probably just something just to stir up drama, but more importantly, they didn't like how he handled it when they confronted him. So instead of him saying, I'm sorry, I apologize, and etc., I think he was more defensive about it, and they felt like he was talking down to them.
Yeah.
And so eventually they just asked him to leave.
But he walks out, and what does he do?
It was a revolving door. He said, wait a second, it's still moving. I got to go back inside.
He comes back in, Chris, and he confronts the guys.
What I like is he's like, Alvin, Craig, Johnson, Can we go talk? He's just naming people off on his fingers. I was like,
he's like, I want to talk to this one. And then he's like, didn't you say raise your hand if you were part of this and told them?
I don't remember.
Like, I did.
Oh yeah, a couple of them did. Yeah. And then he confronted them. He started to confront them. I'm thinking, this is very weird. And what I loved, because I freaking love Gabby, is Gabby and Rachel came over. They're like, we asked you to leave.
Yeah.
You need to leave.
Yeah.
And you know who stood up? Nate stood up and said, if they said it, then you should respect it.
Yes. I noticed that too. And I was like, bravo, Nate.
Won my heart. I did think it would escalate some more. I'm glad that it didn't. But either way, Chris left. And then we had the final rose ceremony where we finally kicked off some bachelors, and we needed to.
Ryan from Boston, see ya. John, I don't know who John is. See ya.
It was a long list of people. Yeah,
Brandon,
it was just people.
Bye. Justin,
I didn't know.
Long hair, Justin. I didn't like Justin. Matt, I don't even remember Matt from the first episode, and Colin.
Bye, 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 yeah.
So there were 6 people gone from the rose ceremony, 2 people from earlier on. So that's 6. That's 8 people total. We got like 20, I guess.
But there's still a lot of guys left. So we get a final little clip of the season, the final little clip of the ending episode, and we see Meatball James serving some pasta to Gabby and Rachel. And I thought that was so cute. I was like, finally, they're eating. They're eating meatballs.
It was so cute. It was cute. The meatballs looked fantastic. I feel like Meatball is just kind of
I like it. He's fantastic.
He's like the fun guy, but I don't know if we're actually going to get to the heart of Meatball. What's at the heart of Meatball? I want to know.
Pasta sauce.
I want to know what he does for a living. He's unemployed. He's got to be unemployed.
He's a meatball enthusiast. I think it's pretty obvious, Liz. He likes to eat meat.
I really think that Gabby and Rachel should date each other.
That's how it's going to end. It's going to end the way it should have started.
Honestly, because they have the best communication, the best relationship. So, excited for episode 3. I want to see more tears and I want to see more screaming.
I want to see more kissing. So we'll see probably some more kissing scenes would be my guess as well.
Well, Tiffany, I feel as if our connection has really grown. And I'm feeling that maybe we can get there.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there.
I think so. To love.
To love.